getting ready for our trip to Old Bahama Bay this year. This is 2026. We went there last year around this same time, and it was quite an adventure, and we can't wait to do it again. We did make a few mistakes last year, and we did have a few issues. Even though we did have problems last year, we still had fun. We had one generator go down, and the second generator was glitchy at best. So there were times during the crossing we didn't have the seakeeper and no electricity. That hopefully is taken care of. I'll give you a quick synopsis of what went wrong with the generator. So the larger generators, the 27 kVA, got a low oil pressure problem and shut down. And when I went into the engine room when we arrived at Old Bahama Bay, the engine room was filled with oil. And I didn't know what happened. So I had, luckily, a lot of oil absorbent rags on the boat, and I was able to clean it all up properly. So that took quite a while, the whole first night, basically. So after that, I was able to relax. And then we, hung out by the pool, went to the beach, did our paddle boarding, took our bike rides into town, really enjoyed Old Bahama Bay. What happened to the generator was the following. There's two places to put the dipstick to check the oil in the generator, one on each side of the engine, and they don't know which way you're going to mount it in an engine room. So they put the dipstick in one side and they plug the other side. Well, it's plugged with just a rubber plug, and the trip over, I guess, was so rough that the rubber plug fell out of the side towards the back of the generator, which I couldn't see, and oil was spewing out of that hole during the whole trip until it got to a low point when the generator shut off. So I couldn't find that. I couldn't figure out what was wrong with it until I got back and a mechanic looked at it. But that was very luckily an easy fix to make. So we put the plug back in and epoxied it in this time, so it's not going to fall out again. And then the other generator that was glitchy needed a new control board. So this year, knock wood, the generators will be fine. This year, we waited for a good weather window to make the crossing, because last year, Kate still has PTSD from that trip. It was very rough. We got postponed last year by a couple of days. There was nice weather that we missed and ended up trying to go anyway, and we got caught in some very nasty seas. And you'll see that when we're putting up our yellow flag entering Old Bahama Bay. You'll see how windy it was, and we fought that all the way across from Stuart to Old Bahama Bay. In fact, there's a funny story that was part of that trip. And Kate, maybe you want to tell that story.
I asked Tom to slow the boat down because my mom had to use the bathroom. And she's not real stable on her feet, but she managed to get to the bathroom. And while she was in there,
the boat was rocking around a lot while I slowed down. I stayed up at the helm, keeping the boat into the sea, but it was still rocking a lot. And it was taking a long time for this bathroom break. And I was upstairs wondering what was going on. And finally, Kate came up and explained to me what had happened.
My mom got trapped in the bathroom because the bed in the VIP room jammed up against the door to the head. And my mom was stuck. And apparently she was yelling out to me, but I couldn't hear her. Not only could I not hear her, but I was sick myself. And when you're seasick, you can't do anything, let alone I couldn't hear anything. All I could hear was like the crashing of the waves and just the bouncing and just trying to get myself together. And next thing I know, my mom is literally like army crawling up the steps and into the salon.
She finally managed to push the mattress out of the way and sneak out of the bathroom to let me know I could start going again. Thank goodness. We don't want to repeat that. It's not worth it. We want this trip to be fun. And we've been out there for too many times when it's just dead flat and you can run 30 knots and just have an enjoyable trip. So hopefully tomorrow's one of those days. We'll see. And when we get there, one of the other things that we did this year, we have the lightweight elite fenders now. A couple years ago, we had the heavy fenders, and Kate, on the sport fisherman, didn't like carrying those things up and down the side, and I didn't like her doing either. It's just too heavy. And a lot of times, the marina doesn't tell you if it's a port or starboard tie until you get right inside. So I can't come down. I'm trying to keep the boat stable in the marina, and Kate has to set the fenders. So now we have the lighter fenders, which is much easier, so she can handle that. But then we have the dock lines, and last year we tried color coding the lines, and it didn't work because we kept forgetting which colors were which length ropes. So we had like green tape, red tape, yellow tape, and they were supposed to represent different lengths, and we just forget. So it's dumb, but we did. So this year,
It kind of works.
it kind of works if you
Yeah.
have a color code chart. I use colors at work all the time for different urgencies of projects that are out in the plant floor. And then we, in order to reduce the amount of time looking for parts for different projects, we have a certain number of jobs this color, and we split the colors up so we can narrow down the field of search to find different parts for a different job. So colors are great. So this year I got a little bit smarter and not only use colors but also use numbers. So what I did was I used yellow wire ties for the 30-foot lines, but I put 3 of them on there, so it's easy. 3 means 30. So all these are between 30 and 36 feet. I have 2 red ones on the 20-foot or 25-foot lines, and then I have 4 white ones on the 40-foot lines. So I think we're going to remember that, and I think it'll be easy to spot as long as they don't fall off. So if they fall off, I'll resort to tape or thread or something like that in the future. But this way is a foolproof way. We won't be able to forget how long these lines are, and we'll know which ones we can use in which location. So we'll test that out hopefully tomorrow by around lunchtime when we get there.
I think we should just get different color lines completely.
Oh, I don't want to do that. I like my lines to match. I like my lines to match, so I don't want to have red, white, and blue lines. Like I've seen that before, but I just want. I think this will be good. We're stocked up. The coolers are stocked up with drinks. This year it's a little different. I'll show you a video as I'm talking. I'll put an overlay in here of the coolers and the refrigerators. No alcohol this year. I haven't had any alcohol since I started my consulting business, and I have a video on that too, because I get calls all hours of the day and night, and I need to be sharp all the time. And I never run the boat and drink alcohol. I would always wait till I got back at the dock or got to the marina and then have a drink. So there's too many things that can go wrong when you're out on the open ocean, and I want to be sharp there. So I've tested it out. It's fun. I haven't had alcohol for a while. Kate doesn't really drink either. We did a trip to the BVI, which I didn't think would be any fun because, if you don't have painkillers while you're at the BVI, it's just not a trip. But we had non-alcoholic painkillers, and they were fine. It was good. And you find other things to do to keep busy. You'll see my coolers stocked with non-alcoholic beer. I've got Michelob Ultra Zero and Budweiser Zero. I've got Guinness zero alcohol. I've even got a non-alcoholic bourbon that I can use when I'm smoking my cigar. So it's a great time to not be drinking. And I know that's a big fad right now. I'm probably late to it like I am with most fads. But I went to the liquor store today, and I went a couple weeks ago, and I'll show you a video of the non-alcoholic shelf, which used to be like 4 brands, O'Doul's and St. Pauli Girl and something else that was non-alcoholic. Now there's an entire rack of non-alcoholic alcohols or fake alcohols and non-alcoholic beers. A lot of the craft brewers are making non-alcoholic beverages now, and you've got a really nice selection, and they taste good. Not only do they taste good, but they're a third the calories of a regular beer. So it helps me get down to my goal weight. I'm trying to do an Ironman again this year, and I've got a triathlon that I'm signed up for in June, and I want to get down to my race weight. And it really is a help cutting out alcohol and getting down to that race weight because of the reduced calories and because of all the stuff you don't eat when you drink regular beer and regular alcohol, because you have a few drinks and then you start eating junk food, and that just goes straight to the gut. And we'll find things to do in Old Bahama Bay and the Grand Bahama Yacht Club. The Grand Bahama Yacht Club. That's the 2 places we're planning on visiting this year. So we'll take videos of that, and in the meantime, we're going to show you a video of last year's trip, because as we're doing the research, trying to figure out what we're going to do, we've been watching a lot of the videos, and we did have a great time. And we'll show you that trip, and then we'll post a video of this week's trip. Those were some of the highlights from last year's trip. We really had a great time at Old Bahama Bay. And here I am getting ready to start this year's journey. First thing I always do is check the engine room. My checklist starts basically checking all the fluid levels and a couple of other things in the engine room, looking for leaks. This is something we added recently, checking the pressure on the steering pump. We added that after one time we left the marina and realized we had no steering because the pressure had dropped without us knowing it. Checklists are critical in boating and in business, and they have to be able to change as you gain more experience. We never leave the dock without checking off all the items on our checklist. Even if I check the oil the night before, I still check it the morning of, because with all the modern technology, somebody could hit a switch or move a lever and the oil can be drained out of the motor automatically without you even knowing it. In the past, I would check the radiator by just looking at the expansion tanks, but I had a leak in one of my heat exchangers, which I'll show you a picture of here recently. And since then, I physically check that radiator level and add coolant when needed. I recently changed the Raycor filters, and I could check them by watching the fuel pressure on my Caterpillar gauges. We have our Sub-Zeros all filled up with water and food. I topped off the engines with oil. Check the oil in the generators, clean the strainer for the refrigeration system, and we should be ready to go. We always top off all 3 fuel tanks before leaving because we don't want to get fuel while we're over there, and we didn't realize exactly how much money we were going to save. We're here at the fuel dock in Stuart, and I timed this perfectly to top off my tanks because right now I'm paying $3.60 a gallon minus 10% because I'm a Safe Harbor member, and after me the price is going up to $5.40 per gallon. We just left the fuel dock and we're on our way, cruising on the Intracoastal waterway now, heading towards the inlet. And there's no hurry, so I'm just cruising around 8.5 knots, 900 RPM. All right, we're out in the ocean now, a few miles off the beach, just heading into the Gulf Stream. I'll put a picture of the Windy app here. The conditions are beautiful. I'm glad we waited a few extra days because the sea is very calm, and we're just cruising along and having a nice ride. We're about a third of the way there, right in the center of the Gulf Stream. Conditions are beautiful, and Kate's having a snack.
I'm always having a snack.
We decided to go behind this ship. There's a chapter in my book about one time when I tried to go in front of one and my engine died right when I was in front of it. So I always tend to take the safer route and go around these big guys because they don't slow down very quickly out here. We got assigned the same slip that we had last year, and you see here the dock hands do a great job at Old Bahama Bay. There's no cleats here, so you just throw them the lines. They'll do a half hitch around the piling, and they get us tied up within a couple of minutes. Much better than last year. Last year, this whole bilge was full of oil. We made it to the Bahamas. Smooth trip. A little bit choppy at the end, but it was a really nice trip overall. And it so happens we're in the same slip as we were in last year. And we're just relaxing. We checked in. Immigration went well. I got the forms from them for the 2-year permit, which is $2,500, I believe. And that's a lot better deal if we're going to come over here often than.
Oh, I don't know when to ride one of those.
Oh, that would be fun. You'd have a helmet on. You could be my biker babe. We're on our way to get some conch ceviche. There's a little stand right here.
For the fishing.
Yeah, right.
And head out.
He said if we don't put our lines in the water, we're not going to catch any fish.
That's what my papa told me. He said, okay, I'll tell you what to do. Don't put the line in the water there. Let's see how much fish you got.
I always have food in my hand.
I talked to the boat next to us, and he was wahoo fishing today, and he said he had a white marlin come up and bite one of his wahoo lures. So we just put some ballyhoo in the bucket. We're thawing them out, and Kate's going to rig them up tonight, and we're going to troll some ballyhoo tomorrow and try to pick up a white marlin. And he said they've also been getting some mahi out there. So we're not going to use the outriggers or anything. We're just going to troll 4 lines and try to pick up some fish tomorrow. And we don't have our normal fishing crew with us, but Kate has helped Rich and Kevin rig so many ballyhoo during tournaments that she was able to do this by herself. And she did a great job until the bugs got to her. The no-seems usually aren't that bad, but this day in particular, there was no wind at all, so it was a little worse than normal.
God, I'm getting bit so bad.
I know. She was able to endure to get the first ballyhoo done. Perfect, Kate. Thanks for watching. And stay tuned for our upcoming episode where we spend a couple days at Old Bahama Bay and then troll our way over to Grand Bahama Yacht Club.